A warm welcome to News Pulse. I'm Dawn Tan. South Korea says that it will return fire immediately if attacked by the North, even at the risk of a full-scale war. With eyes on Pyongyang and when it will carry out a nuclear test, Seoul is warning that the North could test an advanced nuclear weapon more powerful than an atomic bomb. Brussels, European Union ministers are gathering for what will be a keenly watched and contentious two-day summit. They're meeting to try to strike a critical deal on the next 7 years of EU spending that will assign nearly €1 trillion of spending. Now, the main issue dividing the 27 member states is high EU expenditure at a time of cutbacks and austerity across the continent. Austerity across the continent.
Too high. They need to come down, and if they don't come down, there won't be a deal.
But how Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron there warning there'll be no deal without further cuts. Budget negotiations today will hinge on finding a compromise between British and German-led calls for EU cuts to match the austerity of national governments. The news now, an Australian sport has been rocked by revelations of widespread drug use across a number of major codes. A year-long inquiry by top crime investigators found athletes are taking banned substances supplied through organised criminal networks. And still ahead on News Pulse, a bionic man unveiled in London, complete with fake blood and organs. But he has one important organ missing. Tell you what it is and why in a bit. Welcome back. Indonesia's outspoken Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court is standing by the country's president, despite the ruling party being mired in corruption allegations. Still, Mahfud MD says Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono needs to strictly enforce the rule of law and bring Indonesia back to the 1970s, before corruption became endemic. Channel News Asia's Sabrina Chua reports.
Souths and the Sharks. The head of Rugby League has confirmed the code is a part of the Crime Commission's report.
A sweet story out of London now, and from shopping mall lifts to hotel lobbies, the music of Richard Clayderman has kept listeners enthralled all around the world. And now the King of Music is taking his talents to one of London's most well-loved attractions.
Por debajo de los precios de lo que nos cuesta producir y que eso no puede seguir así de esta manera.
Let's get more on this story from Natalie Fury in London. Natalie, David Cameron was pretty clear, no deal without further cuts. The UK has argued that a figure as low as €886 billion, or that's about $1.2 trillion is what they're going for. What are the biggest obstacles, though, to a compromise now? Head on News Pulse. Why is South Korea's Air Force singing a different tune? Stay tuned for the story.
Channel News Asia in Hong Kong.
And you still have one more day to finish your shopping if you haven't already. South Korea's Air Force is battling the winter blues by hitting the right notes. It's come up with a musical parody of Les Miserables, renamed Les Militables. The 14-minute spoof centres around one serviceman's struggle to balance his snow-shoveling duties with the desire to spend time with his girlfriend. Of course, a snooty superior has to make his life difficult. The video has gone viral with over 400,000 hits on YouTube, and it's hoped this pitch-perfect parody will fine-tune the military's image. This has been News Pulse. Thanks for watching. Top stories making the news this hour. South Korea says it's ready for a preemptive strike if there are signs North Korea may attack using nuclear weapons. The Defense Ministry is also warning that North Korea might test an advanced nuclear weapon stronger than an atomic bomb. In Brussels, European Union ministers are gathering to try to strike a critical deal on the next 7 years of EU spending that will assign nearly €1 trillion of spending. The main issue dividing the 27 member states is the high EU expenditure at a time of cutbacks and austerity across the continent. And you're up to date with the headlines on Channel News Asia.